fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing? Today we're going to be talking about the truth of being a beauty YouTuber, which sounds very dramatic, but I really love this video idea. I watched Kate the Great and AMYLOVES both do this, and I just thought it was really transparent and just a really great video idea. It's basically just me asking y'all, like, what questions do you have about being a beauty YouTuber? As simple as that. I said don't hold back. I'll answer as much as I can, and I have a ton of questions to answer today, so we're just gonna be talking about things like how I make money, what my day-to-day life looks like, if I feel pressured to buy a lot of makeup. Like, there's a ton of different kinds of questions, and I'm gonna do my best to answer every single one of them. Even if this video is a little bit longer, I feel like I should have got a drink because my throat already feels a little bit dry. Also, if you wanna see a part 2 for this video, I'm gonna leave a pinned comment down below to start a thread of questions. If there's anything I don't cover in this video that you're curious about, you wanna hear my thoughts or opinions on, then feel free to comment on that. I don't have the biggest channel ever, obviously, but it still like blows my mind when I think about, like, if 35,000 people were in a room listening to me, like, I would actually die. So it's kind of hard to even comprehend it, but I do have a decent little channel here, and I've been making videos for about 5 years now, so I think I have a lot of experience to speak on. There's been a lot of good, a little bit of bad, but let's just go ahead and jump on into it all. Actually, let me get some tea real quick. Ooh, or you know what? It's 5:11. I could pour myself a glass of wine. Maybe I'll do that. Okay, this is a little sparkled teeny. I think the brand is Verdi. It was like $6 at Food Lion, and actually really good, sweet, sparkling. So the very first question is, how do you get PR? And I feel like you can get PR a bunch of different ways. In the past, I have reached out to brands, but I feel like nothing really comes of that, and I think that brands get so many messages and stuff that it probably doesn't feel like a genuine interaction, even if it's something like when I'm like, you're one of my favorite brands, I use you all the time. For example, Makeup Geek. Like, I was obsessed with Makeup Geek for so long. I reached out to them multiple times and nothing ever came of it, even though like it was like a genuine love of their brand. I'm sure that brands get messages like that every single day, all day. So I don't think that's the best way to get PR. I've also had brands like message me and ask me for my address, but I will say from my experience, talking about a brand is the best way for them to notice you, especially if you do like a dedicated video or something and you like post on your Instagram story and you tag the brand in that. That's probably one of the best ways for a brand to see you and see that you're talking about them rather than just like a random message. Just personally my advice. But it really just depends, because there's some brands that like, they know I exist, they know I talk about their products, but they just don't really care to do PR, which is completely fine. Every brand is different, so just don't get your hopes up, and it'll happen sometimes. All right, the next question is, do you donate makeup that you don't use, want/like? If so, to where? And the answer is yes. It's kind of a combination. Basically, any woman in my life, I would say men too, but I don't really have any men in my life who wear makeup. But if I did, then that would be very cool with sharing with them. But basically, anyone who's like, oh, I need an eyeliner, or I need mascara, or do you have a blush like this or something, like, I will go through my makeup and I will give it away as much as possible. I have like a box of unused things. So I give stuff away to my family and friends the absolute most. I've also literally gone to like a party before and just brought like a box of makeup, and I'm like, if anybody wants anything, you could take it. I want to be able to donate more to women's shelters, and I've been researching in my area, but it's kind of hard to figure it out, and a lot of places don't accept things. Before, I had a friend who actually like specifically worked with women in need, and so I gave her some things and she gave those away, and that was like an easier connection. But I've moved since then, so I try my best to get the makeup that I don't use out to people who will use it, but it definitely can be a little bit overwhelming. All right, the next question is, what's your favorite part of being on YouTube? I feel like it's just the genuine connections that you get to make between like just getting to know people and making friendships and not feeling alone. I feel like there's been so many times where I'll talk about something in a video and I feel so alone, and then like the comments just make me feel so validated, which is a really, really nice experience. I know you said favorite part, not favorite parts, but one more thing I would throw in is being able to talk about things and important issues and having a platform. One of the top things being domestic violence, which is something that I went through. Being in an abusive marriage, I'm so much stronger now. It has been 4 years since I left, and I feel like a whole different human being. But having this platform and getting to talk about it, and again, not feel alone, and getting to say like a lot of women go through this, having women message me what they've been through, like I feel like that's just such a deeper connection, and I feel really grateful. All right. The next question is, what's the worst/best comments you can receive as a beauty YouTuber? I think the best would be kind of what I was just saying, where it's like something where you just feel genuinely connected, when it's just deeper than makeup. And then as far as the worst comments, I honestly think the worst thing is when you have someone who's really nasty, and it's not like they're just like quick and nasty. Like, you know, sometimes people like come on your channel and they're like, I hate your eyebrows, or I hate the way you talk, or whatever, which is like fine. Like, you don't have to like me. It's cool. But then when you see people who like really like spend months and months and months watching your months and months watching your videos just to figure out a way to tear down every single part of you, that sucks. That hurts a little bit more. I mean, I'm trying to be better, trying to be stronger, but yeah, not a good feeling when you know someone like intentionally went out of their way to like figure out how to hurt you. The next question is actually one of my friends from high school, and we used to all bond over makeup together, but she said, how did you stay so motivated to keep going, starting small? Miss you. I miss you too. I genuinely feel like it's because I love doing YouTube. I love talking about makeup. If I didn't absolutely love it, I think it would be really easy to burn out, or if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, because unless you get super lucky, like it's gonna take years and years and years. The next question is, what do you do if you ever feel burnt out? And this has changed, because my old answer would have been that I just power through it. I'm like, I'm miserable and I'm still gonna film, which I think kind of goes to show like how motivated I was. But at the same time, I realize now that that does not create good content. It makes content where I look like I'm miserable, but I'm powering through it. So if I'm having an off day, if I don't feel good, if I'm, you know, having a day where I just need a break from my mental health, then I do that. I give myself the grace. I'm like, there will always be another day. I can film tomorrow. Next question is, your worst PR experience? I don't know that I've had like a really bad PR experience, because I feel like I'm pretty good at being open and upfront. Whenever a brand reaches out to me for PR, I say that I will consider it for review. That way they know that it's not guaranteed, because it's not. Although, speaking of, I will say, and I'll just drop the tea because it's a little bit of a bigger brand. You know the hair brand that the girls that used to work at ColourPop did? I can't even remember what it's called off the top of my head, but they have like little clip-ins and ponytails and buns, and I was actually interested in them. Previously looked on their website because they have a bunch of different redhead colors, and I didn't even know what to get because I was a little overwhelmed. And they reached out to me, they DM'd me, they emailed me, they were like, we'd love to work with you, and they just wanted a full, in-depth, dedicated video for free. And I was like, my subscribers don't care about hair. Like, you can send it to me and I'll consider it, and I'll like think about talking about it if it's something I love. But like, can you guys imagine me doing a full video on a ponytail? Like, no. So yeah, when I told them that, I was like, sorry, like no, they never responded. Next question says, do you secretly get tired of makeup sometimes? And I wouldn't say that I get tired of makeup. I love wearing makeup. I still wear it almost every single day, but I do get tired sometimes of doing bold looks. Like sometimes I just want to do very soft glam makeup, and I feel like when I do that too much, I get comments that want me to do something more, and I feel like sort of an obligation to make people happy. Not all the way, because you can't make everyone happy, but I feel like, especially with like trying out different eyeshadow palettes and whatnot, I don't want to be the person who does the same thing all the time over and over again. Sometimes like I'll do bold looks and I don't want to. I'm like, dang, I really just want to like throw something in the crease and go, but I don't. That's the only thing I can think of for that. The next question says, how do people in your real life feel about you being a public figure because of your YouTube career? And honestly, I don't think anybody really cares that much. Like, it's like, oh, like you're a YouTuber, cool. It's just what I do. Like, it doesn't define me or anything. So I don't know what they would really think about it. My sister is very, very encouraging, and she tells people about me all the time. My older sister and my little sister. My little sister is more embarrassing because she's like, has like fourth graders watching my videos, and I'm like, it's not for them. She thinks like I'm super cool for being a YouTuber, but that's like the only person in my life who thinks that. So the next question says, what are your limitations / what does it take for you to stop supporting a brand? Examples, ? I think it really depends. If a brand does something like morally that I don't agree with and they do absolutely nothing to make it right, or they're making it right seems very fake, then I'm pretty inclined to not want to buy or talk about them. Or if a brand is selling products that aren't safe and it's dangerous to the consumer, then I'm not about that either. Next question is, what is your next goal for your channel? And I mean, it's hard to say. I really want to get back into having a really good, consistent schedule and just getting back into like just making really good content. I just want to have videos that are meaningful and helpful. And like, I'm always pushing myself to do more and to do better and just be like the most helpful channel that I can be when it comes to independently owned makeup brands, because that is my main focus. Numbers wise, I don't put goals on as much because like there's nothing I can really do to directly affect that other than just doing my best, which even then, like, you don't know how it's going to turn out. All right, the next question is, worst interactions with brands. Do you ever get sick of PR, brands you refuse to work with, brand biases? Okay, that's a lot of questions. Some I don't even fully understand because they're so short, but I will say I don't think I get sick of PR. Sometimes I get a little overwhelmed, especially if I get like a lot of things at once, and like I want to do my best to make content with all of it, but I also need to sleep and be a mom and have a life. So brands you refuse to work with, am I supposed to like specifically say brands, like the name brands? I don't know if I have that much courage right now. And then brand biases, I don't know that I really have biases with brands. Like, there's brands I really enjoy because I've built up long-term trust with them and their products. I think that my main bias is when my friends do products with brands. Like, I'll admit it right now. I mean, I still try to give my honest opinion and everything. It's not like I'm like, ooh, this is bad and I'm gonna lie and say it's good. But like, I mean, I feel like it's human. Like, if your friend did something, would you not be like extra encouraging, extra supportive, loving it that much more because it's theirs? So that's my main bias. Next question is, how many hours a week do you typically spend on your YouTube channel? I actually did an experiment a while back, and I like tallied every single time I was working on a video, filming, editing, and I like did it for an entire month to tell y'all how much time I actually spent doing YouTube part-time. And I can't even remember what the answer to that was, but initial guess right now was 30 hours a week. But then I was like, okay, maybe not, because I wasn't thinking about everything that goes into doing social media, because I was just thinking about filming and editing and like the amount of time it takes to do that. But if you count like the amount of time that I am on social media between Instagram, even though I'm not as great about my Amy Loves Makeup Instagram, Indie Makeup Spotlight, I feel like in order to be on it, I have to spend more time on Instagram. I have a watch now, which is off because I was doing swatches before, but I have the Apple Watch, and it actually tells me and shows me pictures when I get notifications from brands, which is amazing because then I don't have to be on Instagram as much, and it will like literally pop up and I'm like, oh, there's a new palette, or this just went live, let me make a post real quick. So that is extremely helpful. I wasn't even expecting that when I got this. I just bought it for fitness. And I also spend time for Patreon, which I do 4 extra videos every single month for my Patreon. And then there's answering emails, talking to brands, and responding to comments. I almost forgot that one. Responding to comments, that is a job in itself sometimes. And then there's also like the side of having to budget and taxes and stuff for being self-employed, which every day seems to get more overwhelming. So I feel like I would say at least maybe 40, 50 hours a week if I had to guess on how much time I spend on my YouTube. Next question is it easy to get PR or does it take a long time to get noticed? Really depends on the brand. Sometimes like I'll mention a brand once or I won't even mention them at all and they'll reach out to me. And then other times like there's brands where I've probably done like a dozen videos about them on my channel and they don't really care. So I really just think it depends brand to brand. Next question says, if Give Me Glow would become more inclusive, would you consider featuring them again? I guess I would say never. Right now I'm taking a break. I'm listening to all the Black women who are speaking up and I'm just gonna kind of follow suit. The next question is it hard? And I would say mentally, yes. Just because I feel like having to have so many different roles, whether it be like when you're filming, when you're editing, when you're having to be your own accountant, which I really, really want to pay for an accountant maybe next year. Maybe next year I'll do that because that's a struggle. When you're having to like talk to businesses and pretend that I know what the heck I'm doing, like going through contracts, like dealing with trolls, like I feel like that part can be a little bit challenging. But overall, I would say that like there's a lot worse jobs and I did have a part-time job for a year where I ended up being in a really bad situation, which made me that much more grateful for YouTube and just being my own boss and not having to deal with people treating me the way that I felt like I was treated. Next question is it your only job? And currently it is, and it works really well for me, so I'm happy. The next question says, what's the average time it usually takes to film a video? It depends, but I would say like for one video, maybe like an hour to 2 hours. The next question says, do you reach out to brands to get PR or affiliate codes? Like I said in the past, I've reached out and codes sometimes I still will, even not just like affiliate, just codes in general. I'm like, oh, do you have a discount code? Like I would love to offer my subscribers a code, even if it's like not me making any money, because I just think it's nice to be able to have that option and have that like extra 10% off or whatever. So I'll do that sometimes, but I don't really do it often. Next question says, does your channel pay for itself, makeup and equipment purchases, etc., or did you use savings to keep up? Any big purchase that I made, like equipment wise or anything, I saved up for, so I didn't like use my actual savings. Like if that makes sense, like I'm not dipping into savings, but I did save up for things. Like for example, I recently bought a really nice computer. I love it so much. It makes my life 1000% easier. And I've been planning on buying that for over a year. And then I went ahead and did it. So I try to do things smartly, I don't know, but yes, it does pay for itself. And as far as makeup goes, I have a specific budget. I try not to go over it, but it normally does pay for itself between if there's views on the video, which, you know, I kind of have to predict what's worth buying, or if you have an affiliate link or an affiliate code, then sometimes you know that you have more chance of making back whatever you're putting into buying for the review. Next question says, what's the most rewarding part of being a beauty YouTuber? And I just have to say like what it's done for me and what it made possible, because like being a single mom and still getting to work and, you know, make money and live and take care of myself and my son, and also get to stay at home with him and not have to send him off to daycare, and just getting to have all these like years of him, like his initial years growing up, it genuinely means everything to me. That like I don't even know, like some days I think about like my YouTube channel and I'm like, it's still so small compared to a lot of people, and I'm like, I don't even understand how I'm making a living from this and like doing okay for myself, but I am, and I feel so blessed, specifically because of my son and getting to have this time with him, because it's genuinely priceless. Like I will never have it again. Like if I talk about it too much, I will cry. So let's move on. The next question says, your favorite PR package / memory. This is super funny to me. Glamlight sent me their pizza palette and I saw that it was delivered and I was like, there's pizza. It's pizza here. It was when I lived with my parents and my dad was like, there's no way there's pizza in that box. And I was like, I promise you that there is pizza in this box. And when I opened it up and he saw like the whole pizza box and then the pizza palette, like we literally just sat there and had a laugh. The next question says, how do you manage to film and edit when you have a little boy to look after? So the way that I film is, I used to film when he was napping, and he napped so good for a long time, but he's over the naps now. So a lot of times when I'm filming, he's in his room or my room. Sometimes he's watching cartoons, sometimes he's reading books or looking at books because he can't read yet. Sometimes he's coloring. I normally have some type of activity for him to do to keep busy while I'm filming. And in general, he's just a pretty quiet, very cool, calm kid. Even sometimes I've filmed and he's in the room with me and he's just quiet. So it works out. Like, I feel super blessed because some kids are very, very, very rambunctious and I would not be able to be doing this. And then as far as editing, a lot of times I edit at night when he is asleep. The next question says, what was the biggest disappointment you experienced as a YouTuber? And that was definitely having a failed collab. Like, just the whole situation was terrible. I felt so guilty for all the people who felt like they spent money and did not get their money's worth. And that's just honestly one of the worst feelings. And I feel like there wasn't anything I could do to really fix it. And it was just terrible all around. I mean, I guess like looking back, like I see a life lesson, and I did a video about the lessons that I learned from it, but that was definitely like the worst experience I've had. And says, do you ever get tired of it? I do not. I don't. Do you think being a review channel is worth the initial investment in the long run? And I don't know. I feel like there's so many people doing reviews and there's so many people who get PR and get things early that I feel like it's hard to even like be known and like be fast and like get that first video up. And especially like calling it an investment. Like if you're already buying makeup and you're talking about it, that's one thing. But like I really don't think it's worth it, like to use your savings or to go into debt to do makeup. There's so many things you could do on YouTube and not have to spend a bunch of money. So I think like it's really a personal decision, and I definitely made some stupid decisions with money early on, and I really wish that I hadn't. I feel like I can contribute that more to like a coping mechanism rather than like investing, but yes, I don't know that it's a great idea. The next question says, the most wonderful thing and the most awful thing that happened because you're a beauty YouTuber. I feel like I already talked about the worst thing, but the best thing would have to be when I went to New York City and I met up with some YouTubers, Karen Harris and Yelka Nikvis. We shared a hotel room. I got to meet Samantha March, Jen Loves Reviews, Bailey Sarian. Like, it was just one of the most fun times of my life. So yeah, that would probably be one of the best things. Are you afraid of stalkers or creepers? A little bit, I guess I am. Like, I know not to like be overly descriptive of where I live. I don't post like in my story, like in my car, like in my neighborhood. I don't talk about the things that are near me because like I just want to be careful. So I guess I am. I wanted to answer every single question, but I am feeling bad because there's still so much. What is the weirdest PR/collaboration you got offered and turned down? Oh my gosh. Y'all don't understand the weirdest. If you have kids, this is your moment to turn it down for a second or skip ahead. I got an email once to do like a video showing how to apply makeup to a sex doll. I was like, not me. Like, you got the wrong person. Okay, anyways, the next question says, who do you look up to on YouTube as a role model or example? Lots of people. I feel like, I guess I would, like, my initial two people that I think of, one would be Wanna Makeup. April, she's such a sweetheart. She's such a good mom. Like, she's just so genuine. I love her. Just look up to her as a person. I'd also say Samantha March, just because of how consistent she is, her schedule, being an author. Like, I feel like she's just amazing. So those are two women that I look up to. Are you really friends with other YouTubers you say you're friends with? Dun dun dun. Yes, I am. I believe so. I believe we're friends. I feel like all my friends that I've met through YouTube have been through genuine interaction, getting to know one another, not like wanting to use another person or anything like that. Okay, next question says, ever got a comment that made you cry or want to change yourself or even quit YouTube? I had one comment that I can think of that made me cry, and it was because it was from another YouTuber, and they were just so nasty, like so unkind that it made me cry. But I really don't cry, like sad cry from comments a lot. I have cried from comments being so sweet. That happens more often. And yes, I've wanted to change things about myself, but I just realized that you cannot make everyone happy. And one of the things that's like really funny, but like I just genuinely can't help it, is I've gotten a few comments about the way that I swallow, and that I swallow really loud and it's really nasty, and they're like, can you edit it out? Like, it's just disgusting. I can't even watch your videos. And I'm just like, I was Googling like, how do you swallow quieter? And there's literally nothing I can do. Like, I don't hear it majority of the time. So I just did it then. I don't think it's that loud. I really don't. But some people hate that. And you have to just realize, like, I'm not going to be for everybody. Like, there's certain things like I literally cannot change. Do you feel pressure to buy more than you're comfortable with? And I used to, but now I don't. I feel like when people are like, I can't wait for you to review this, or you should review that, I'm like, oh, I'm not buying that, or I didn't plan on purchasing that. I feel more comfortable just being like, no, I don't plan to do that. Whereas before, I used to feel like I wanted to people please a little bit too much. And like at the end of the day, like I want to review the things that a lot of people want to see, but I cannot go out and buy every single request that I have. How much hate/negativity do you actually get every day? This really depends, and I think that I'm actually pretty lucky because I see some of my friends and stuff get a lot of hate, and I don't understand why. Generally, like there'll be like little waves. Like sometimes I'll just have a day where I get like 3 hate comments and then it'll go away. I don't get that many really nasty comments, not very often. It's really not often at all. Next question says, how scary are contracts? They seem super scary. I agree, it can be a little bit scary. Normally when I get a contract, I read it multiple times. I actually did turn down a sponsorship once because the contract was just so long and so in depth. I just didn't feel comfortable. I felt like I was like signing my life away. Okay, I have a question that says, how do you spend your day as a YouTuber? And I feel like I could go really in depth on that question, or I could just ask y'all, do you want me to do like just like a 1-day vlog, day in the life, what I do, how my day goes. I don't plan on doing a lot of vlogging ever, just because I like to keep my son very private. But if you wanted me to do just 1 day, let me know if you want to see that. Do you get recognized in public often? Never. Do you ever get tired of having to keep up with the demand for new product reviews? Not really. Only time I get like annoyed is when I buy something to review and then I don't review it because I'm like, I went out and purchased it to review. If I don't get to every like PR thing that I received, then it's not that big of a deal. Are there indie brands you won't promote and why? Definitely. Just overall, like if they treat your customers bad, if they treat me bad, then like I'm not gonna talk about them or give them attention. Like, why would I? Sometimes I want to comment on a video, but I can't think of what to say. What kind of comments are helpful? Genuinely, any engagement is helpful, even if you just want to like leave a smiley face or an emoji. Like, don't feel pressured to like leave a whole long like paragraph or anything like that. Like, even if just like a heart, that's perfectly fine. And I appreciate the extra engagement. This next question says, how does it make you feel if you get nasty comments? Obviously bad. I know that there's some people who are really good about not letting things bother them, and I think that's amazing for them. But if you're not one of them, like me, I really think that it's human to just feel emotion. You know what? I feel like this might be stupid, but in real life, like I think I've only ever had like 1 or 2 experiences where people being very upfront that they don't like me. So like to get it so much more often online, like in real life, I feel like you can just like avoid that, or like you just keep your opinions to yourself. But online, people like want to tell you that they don't like you and all the reasons they don't like you. So it's just weird to get used to. This next question says, would it be worth it to start now? And I would say absolutely. You never know what could come of it. And I mean, worth it, I don't know what that necessarily means to you. Do you mean like, could you make a career? Could you make friends? Could you have a really fun creative outlet? like, I think it could possibly be worth it. It's just, you never know until you try. Next question says, how many subs are needed to be profitable? 25K, 50K, and this is definitely a misconception. Making money doesn't really have anything to do with the number of subscribers you have. It has to do with your engagement and how many people are watching your videos, how long they're watching your videos for. Are they watching the different ads? Are they buying things with your links? Are they using your codes? Like, it really depends on that more than just like a set subscriber amount. How much does it help if subs don't skip ads? I literally don't know. I don't think it makes that much of a difference, to be honest. If you don't want to watch an ad, then like, please don't. Like, I really don't feel like it makes a huge difference in the long run. Like, maybe like 10 cents. So yeah, don't feel any pressure. I guess we could talk about money real quick. I'll just kind of try and put these together. How do you actually make money? Let me see. I know I have a few more. Did you set out to make money from YouTube? If not, when did you feel like it became real money? I don't want to be rude, but how much do you make from YouTube sponsorships? And then there's one that says, how long did it take you till you could do this full time and pay your bills? Making this as simple as I possibly can. I've done YouTube for a long time with a lot of like little part-time, like here and there and babysitting and whatnot, and I made it work because I had a pretty low cost of living, especially like when I lived with my parents and whatnot for a while. And even though I still paid my fair share of rent and I paid for my phone and like all the different things, my cost of living was much lower than it is now on my own, obviously. So I've made it work for a long time, and the point where it turned to where it could be something more full-time and I could also have all these bills and pay for rent and have my own place and everything was kind of leading up after I did a YouTube boot camp, and I learned the importance of having multiple streams of revenue and really making sure that you've got money coming in from several places. Like, the main way you get paid from YouTube is through Google AdSense. You get paid once a month, and that is strictly based on your views. And I really kind of budget around that. Like, I know that's where my rent comes from. I know that's where like a few bills come from. And then I also have affiliate codes and affiliate links. For affiliate links, the main one that I use is Magic Links, and they pay on the 1st of each month. And then I have affiliate codes. Affiliate codes are amazing. Honestly, really, really helpful for doing YouTube and making a living. I don't feel pressure to sell things, like to make them. I never try to make people feel pity or like you need to use my codes, but they're there. And I feel like a big part of making the amount of money that I do with affiliate codes is the fact that I have my Instagram account, Indie Makeup Spotlight, where I get to announce when things are available. They've just launched. You can use my code right now. And even though I went into Indie Makeup Spotlight not planning to make any money from that at all, like wasn't even a thought in my head, I think that really does help, like, that extra account. The hard thing about affiliate codes, though, is that a lot of times brands are pretty inconsistent on when they pay. So for me, like, I try not to budget around that. And when I have that extra money, that's normally what goes into savings, or if I like want to treat myself with something extra, I try not to have to rely on those at all, because it's like, oh yes, I'm going to be paid this amount, but when are they gonna pay me? I don't know. Also, sponsorships, I've gotten a lot more opportunities for that this last year. Again, I don't rely on those as much. Those are more extra because, like, I never want to feel pressured to accept a sponsorship. I only want to work with brands that I really, really love. Hey guys, I'm so sorry. I don't know exactly where I was. I got cut off because my camera was completely full, and I've been talking for way, way too long. I'm gonna edit this down the most that I possibly can. But basically, I think I was saying that I do sponsorships, and then I also have my Patreon, and just basically, like, a lot of people were like thinking like, how is it enough? Or like, how much do you, like, how long before you make enough or whatever? And I really feel like it just depends on you and what you find to be a living wage. Like, your like life, like, do you like to take a lot of vacations and fly here, or your rent is like $2,000 a month and you have a car payment and you have debt that you're paying off, or student loans? Like, there's so many things that can build on up and up, and it really depends on each person. So yeah, I'm okay. I'm doing okay, but it's a case-by-case basis, I suppose. This one says, you guys do not do reviews anymore because of the amount of makeup you buy or send from PR. Are you doing mostly first impressions, or most YouTubers do impressions and hide it? I don't really think that anyone's hiding it. I think that people like try to find different ways to make something entertaining, but I don't think it's like a secret. I definitely would say I do less reviews just because like full on super in-depth reviews don't seem to just get as much attention and they take a lot of work. So yeah, I do a lot more first impressions, but also try to make reviews more of like all in one video. So maybe it feels like less than like it used to be. Like I would review each individual product, which I actually do have a video like that coming soon. But yeah, I would agree there's a lot more first impressions, but I think that really YouTubers just try to like continue to do what people show interest in. So someone said, how do you deal with hate? And then someone else said, how do you deal with unnecessary mean comments? I saw someone else, a YouTuber, I think, oh, I can't remember what her name is, but I saw her doing an interview and she talked about how comments have absolutely nothing to do with you, and that when someone is being super kind, super nice, just absolute, like just pure sweetness, that is a reflection of that person. And the same goes for when someone is being just absolutely nasty, terrible, hateful. That is a reflection of them. They're honestly not reflections of me. People go above and beyond to be nice or go above and beyond to be mean. Like that's just more about them. It's not about me. So I really do just try to not take it personally. Oh, this is a good question. Again, having to do with money. It says, is it nerve-wracking to have fluctuating income from YouTube? Definitely is a little bit nerve-wracking, and like having to learn to budget for it, and especially because like in the beginning of the year you'll make a lot less than you make towards the end of the year, especially with AdSense. Like the first few months are pretty terrible, but I think that if you understand that, if you plan for that, if you try to be a really good saver, then it's not that big of a deal. Another piece of advice I would have for you is to have enough saved up that if YouTube just like you had several months, at least several months that were just terrible, that you would be fine. Instead of just taking whatever's extra and blowing it or living above your means, save it. And I have not always been the best at it, but my sister had this conversation with me probably like a year and a half ago, and it really changed my mindset. This one says, how do you maintain consistency on your channel? Help. And I feel like there's no magical answer for this. It's about putting your channel as a priority. So whether you are deciding like, should I go to a party? Should I watch this Netflix series and binge it all day? Should I take a nap? Like you have to have a space and a time for your channel, and consistency isn't everything. It's more about having quality content, but if you can at least have like a dedicated time once a week where you choose to do that, if it is something you're looking to pursue, then that's what I really recommend, is like taking the time and making it at least a little bit of a priority, because if you don't, then it's just not going to happen. And I speak from experience because I started a second channel and it's not a priority, and it's really hard to be consistent at all. In fact, it's been like a month and a half since I posted a video, but there's just so many other things that I'm not willing to part with right now, so I can't make it a priority. The last question here says, one piece of advice you wish you could go back and tell yourself when you started. And I feel very constricted with only one piece of advice because there's so many things that I have done wrong, that I wish I'd done different, that I wish I'd done better, times when I wish that I had been kinder, when I had been more patient, or when I had thought about things more before I put my foot in my mouth. Like there's so many moments, but honestly, I think that's just part of life and part of growing. But if I could give anyone else one piece of advice, it would be to be okay with being yourself and to be kind. I am so sorry for how long this video was. I hope that it was still enjoyable. If you want a part 2, like I said, the comment thread will be down below, but I'm gonna go now because it's been forever. I gotta go make dinner, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.